Hi, Libra. Alright, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Libra. Your tree up yet? Yeah, welcome to this place and welcome back if you're returning. I know most of you have been around, and really I'm very happy for the new ones that come in, because it's nice to meet a new friend, right? It's nice to have new supportive, loving energy in the tribe, or the community, if you will, grow. Okay, so I guess we're jumping in here. I have 3 decks, 3 dice, and a holy book, a very sacred old text. I feel as if that could be a helpful tool for you. I don't know if if you're like me, I like having different kinds of religious text around. Not all of my life, but anyway, I feel like you have one. A Bible, the Quran, Rumi, I guess whatever is sacred to you. But it's an old book. Even if it's a new printing of it, it's an old book. Do you know what stitchomancy is? I remember reading about this in the 90s. It's I guess what the term came from, when monks would take their readings. What is the book that the Buddhists read? Anyway, you'd basically take a book and hold it, and you can, I guess, put your intention if you want. I mean, we're always doing that, whether it's conscious or subconscious, right? And then basically you kind of flip whatever you want, or just open up randomly and kind of point. And sometimes it's literal, but I find it's more in the thread of dreams, right? It may give you just a little puzzle piece, something to sit with. Because I believe that and what I'm seeing is the Creator doesn't always talk to us all the time. Another sign talked about this, maybe I'll bring it up later, but I opened this one and I had highlighted this part, and it says, the holy seed is its stump. And if you're curious, you like numbers, it's page 534. The holy seed is its stump. And I'm pitching that Kim Cran's Ace of Earth, and that is a tree stump, right? It's not a seed. It's a tree that's been, I guess, cut down. And so what happens when we cut down a tree? I guess we have more light. There's more space for the little things to grow. Not every little thing will grow, because after the little thing becomes bigger, that which is underneath it, right, unless it can adapt to that kind of light, will eventually fade away and just make the soil rich, because things need to die to make the soil rich and fertile, so that the things that are getting bigger have enough energy, right? So something about this for you, Libra. You, as well as your opposite Aries, also, I love this dice. It has antlers on it too, for some reason. I got them at the Christmas party last year, but rolled the number 9. Number 9. And the South Node is also highlighted and emphasized, which we've been talking about for a while. And, that feeling of, this... I guess we're not supposed to have a lot of energy right now, seasonally, right? Everything is starting to sort of go dormant. That doesn't mean things aren't still growing. There's 3 hemlock trees right in front of me. They stay green all year. They don't grow extra, but they're alive, and they're I heard they're functioning. So pardon me, I'm guessing this is a bit of, a lot of signs have been talking about cleansing. It's interesting to me when I start to see like the thread of it, right? Because we are all the signs also. But Scorpio, your neighbor, talked a lot about the body, and well, that's an important thing, right? It's the vessel that holds our soul. Okay. I also see a Pisces moon. Some of you have a daughter. This is also, I'm seeing it in the 5th house too, so what are we talking about? Sorry. Oh, that would be a good time to ask your dreams. This would also be being in bed. There's a suggestion, time frame here, to be in bed, and I heard in comfy, clean and comfy, between 8 and 10. Between 8 and 10, and I kind of saw the moon where, if this was the 5th house, it was like over here, so it could be like a little bit closer to 10, but there's something about that. But maybe you need to be asleep for a little while before the dream comes in, and you need to be asleep when that's happening. I've also been thinking about this, so can I share that? Yeah, okay. So, you know how animals aren't really born with sickness, like wild animals, right? They don't become a beast. They generally don't break a limb. There isn't, again, this weakness, cancer, these kinds of deformities, these kinds of things. And I was wondering about when, in ways of like mating, or in ways of when, which would be let me back up. I guess you can relate this to anything, but that's where it came from. The point of the story is that when, say, you're about to go to sleep, like, because the stars move above us, right? They all circle around the North Star, right? Around Polaris. So, the portal of Polaris. So, you can get a star map on your phone. I don't suggest having a phone in your room. I try not to. It's good to separate ourselves from these screens, right? They're a helpful tool, but we don't want to always be incessantly, we want to use moderation with things. That's why Saturn's exalted in your sign. You understand moderation more than anyone, but it still takes you a long time to understand what that really means across the board, right? So what I kind of saw was like, I wonder if this perfection comes in, this total attunement of this planet and their creator is when they do things, they're doing them exactly like above a particular constellation at that time, like those particular stars. And I wonder, like, when we're going to sleep, like what constellation, or what stars are above us, right? And of course that moves, so it's not this fixed energy, but something to think about. Maybe, I don't know, maybe some of you are looking at the stars, that's why we're talking about this, so you're like, what is that? What's right above me right now? What's above me? Okay. Let's see, Libra. Oh. Mars is squaring you. Especially if you're an early degree Libra. Early mid-degree Libra right now, first, second decan. So, but regardless, this means that, well, I keep seeing Mars in Cancer. Let's talk about this. I'm seeing something bubbling. We just did a reading on Gravy Basket about this, but it was really intense. This energy is a lot more mellow, but it has a similar feel of how someone was changing something, but it was like hard to change, and they wanted to do it all by themselves, and they wanted to do it their own way, and they did. But it doesn't always come out the way that a person wants. It's like you want to make that bread so bad, but you gotta call like your auntie to ask her thoughts on it, you know. Oh yeah, this message came doubly so, huh? So maybe some of you will find find the missing link, find the missing piece. Who talked about that? Peace. Peace was a Scorpio. When Mars is in Cancer too, the stomach has a lot more acidity in it. Sometimes it can make a person like upset in their body, or like they're just not comfortable. It could even be like sort of irritable at home a little bit. Let me turn that off. Let me see. Do you have to deal with rude people this month? Hold on. Decay. Rude boy. I actually don't know what that means technically in Jamaican, like the slang of it. Mixed emotions. Just a second. Oh. I'm seeing the North Node in Aries, so something's pulling on you, or the energy is going somewhere else, but that's where it's supposed to. It's like funneling into kind of one place. I'm seeing a drain on the floor. So like when you originally look at this, you think, okay, this is flat, this is plain. But if you add another layer to it, and I guess we're talking about what I saw was water, then you start to realize that like, oh, I'm not going to drown if I stay in this place. There's a place for that to go. There's a place to, again, for that water to drain. I don't think you have to worry about where that goes. It's more of this out, like, because then that goes to an outlet. I'm seeing water and electricity together. Like you have to be careful with those two things, right? You know, you don't mix those two together. And then I'm seeing that CERN place, that creepy place. Okay. Let's see what the next step on your path is, Libra. It's almost a new year. This year went by fast. I feel like you say that once you get a certain age anyway. But it did. The next step on your path, Libra. Practices to strengthen your faith. And it says, particularly it says, immediate to advanced students welcome. That's the next step in your path. So some of you are meant to take a class or teach a class, depending. I sense this though, I think both of these things could be happening. But I think you having a teacher is very very important. That's what I saw. This card is you receive. It's like when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. But with this kind of teacher, it's something that you already. This kind of learning is something that you already know about. Again, intermediate to advanced students welcome. We're not talking about the basics here. Pardon me. Sometimes I wish I could like take my eyes out and like dunk them in cold water and clean them and put them back in. You know, this is your sun eye, right? And this is your moon eye. Your right eye is your sun. Actually, if you're a Libra sun, you probably have a weaker right eye, right? Or you have astigmatism in it. Because the sun is low in Libra. So maybe some of you are taking an astrology class. This is Jupiter in Sagittarius, though, so you could really be learning about anything, which kind of emphasizes that 9th house, too. Oh, it's so cool when, like, you know when it feels like the magic is missing? You're like, where'd it go? Everything was so sparkly and amazing, and now it feels flat, right? That south node. Fucking flat, right? I get it. But I'm being reminded of that biblical verse about, you know, about it's something like I'm seeing trust in me. I will give you green pastures and still waters, right? Because we're not meant to push ourselves. Usually, that in that particular verse, the story is about a shepherd who wakes up very early, but at the peak of day when it's too hot, it's just not the time, because it would be basically stealing your energy if you were to try to keep functioning at the same pace that you were, because we can't do the same pace all day, because again the day changes as we move through it, right? Again, the moon even moves, the stars above us move even though we can't see it, right? So okay, I guess we need to talk about that. And then I saw the word body. So maybe some of you are studying health, actually. But this is also practices to strengthen your faith. Maybe for some of you, this is part of the. Actually, this is kind of perfect. God, you're so smart, Libra. You don't know how smart you are. You don't. I'm seeing someone hug an animal. And like an animal and someone's nuzzling in someone's neck. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Mercury's in retrograde this month too. Right. So this time frame is holy. This is probably the most holy day season, right? There's a lot of them, and there's these holy day times, especially again historically, are actually very long, right? For instance, around Thanksgiving, which I don't know what the original holiday was from other places, but that time of year until we get into Christmas we're supposed to have that feast then. It's basically like, oh, this is wonderful, look what we grew this year, and then it's like a big expression of the harvest, right? But then after that we're supposed to fast, actually, from Thanksgiving until Christmas. Not full like water fast, it was just no meat, no oils, no alcohol, and I believe a lot of people do no sex. Basically, you're taking out the desire. We just got out of Scorpio season, right? We're taking out this because the spirit is what wants to be full. We can fill the body, and that feels good, sure, sometimes, but it's really more of I heard the celebration of it. And so what I'm seeing with this card here is maybe that's a part of it, is where a person is studying more of traditional. Again, it must connect to God some way or another, to your creator some way or another, but it's these times that either we eat a particular thing or we don't eat a particular thing, and when. Okay. So some of you are like dietitians or health, work in the health field. You're getting another certificate. There's like a certification for something. Now, oh, this is interesting. This is also showing me you have a 6-year process if you want to. Maybe 5. There's a 5-year. It doesn't go in a circle, but I want to draw a circle because it feels fluid. I heard if you take care of something now, you'll be ready for it then. Okay. Right, because right now Jupiter's in Gemini. This is Jupiter in Sag. So yeah, I'm seeing again that 6. We're kind of getting that 5-year process here. Huh. You should look at your Sag house too, and as well as your Jupiter. That'll also show you your path. Some of you also, as an additional exercises, you could put Jupiter in your Sag house. Like turn your stars but leave your houses. I've been seeing that a lot lately. The gear within a gear. What is your hindrance right now? Oh, I'm going back to that rude boy. A rude boy. You don't have to feel rude by saying no to something. It's better than being impulsive because it's more of a time of moderation, again, than it is excess. It seems like excess because we can spend a lot of money in this time. We can do a lot of socializing, things like that. Overeat, overdrink. But if we moderate ourselves, then we're going to feel a lot better when January, February comes around too. Right? Because it always slows down then. And I think that's totally a natural situation. You know, I've gone over my yearly expenses, and I personally, for a few years in a row, it was like March and December were my biggest spending months. It just happened to be that. And it's interesting because those are both Jupiter months. So something maybe that you're paying attention to also. Yeah, let's see what's, again, hindering you. Venus and Scorpio. Oh, some of you are mad because you don't feel sexy? Or I'm seeing Venus and Scorpio as a lot of blood. So maybe your period hinders you, or if you're a man, it's like when a woman's on her menses, or like your woman is going through menopause, or something like that. The blood also represents our happiness. And with Venus and Scorpio, I guess the blood isn't that happy. So who's the most depressed person in your family, or like negative person in your family? I mean, I guess your mother makes your blood, so that I heard that part of that lesson could be on the tail end of it. And then I'm seeing that water, that dirt, so someone mopped the dirty floor, and then then that washed out, and then the clear water came in. So the floors need to be mopped. That'll help something. Some of you also need to sharpen your knives or your tools. I'm seeing this as literally, and then of course whatever you consider your tools of metaphorical value. But yeah, some of you have like a dull knife, and like if you right, because if you cut yourself with a dull knife, it's gonna hurt you more than a sharp one. Saturn also rules over our tools, so I'm seeing like a needle on a sewing machine. It's the metal things. You want to sharpen them, or maybe something's a little rusty and you don't have to throw it away. It's not that it's unsharpened, but it has some sort of exterior, I heard blemish. Oh, that's another thing in relation, but sort of side note. Mars in Cancer could also very much be like exfoliating. Get rid of all the dead. The skin also wants to be warm, right? It wants to be warm, so I feel like when you're cold, you're more angry. There could also be a Scorpio in your life that's kind of a hindrance. Not to project that onto them. This is also in your map. But, or Pluto in your map, Mars in your, again, I mean, I guess that's that. Oh, Venus and Scorpio is love thy enemies. What's going on? I guess whatever is hindering you is sort of supposed to. Like where you feel hindered, to me feels as if something is, it can't go much further than it is. It's like they're kind of tethered to something. I'm seeing a dog chained up. So I guess something that might help is to remember that you can ask for patience within those places. Like I heard, I know this is going to change, but for now, let me not let that give me such a hard time. Oh, so you need a new razor? Sure. What's favorable right now? Virgo? Yeah, some of you are reading health books. That's what I keep seeing. It's like these little pieces are coming together. Someone reading a book, I guess. And I guess whatever the health thing is some way or another, it helps something feel better. Just a minute. You want to go out there? Oh, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. See you later. Sure. It's finally getting cozy in the house. Oh, it's so nice. All right. Floating in water is helpful. That will favor you. Blessing your water. Bless your water. I feel like it's easier for most cardinal signs to do something for someone else, because you would feel guilty going on by, because you're always moving forward, so you would feel guilty going on by down the path without helping people as you go along, right? If you can. But I heard, what happens when you're tired? Okay. I'm also seeing, of course, saying thank you, even as simple as thank you over our water, and you wait a day, it'll change the toxicity of it. The toxicity of it will go away, right? So fluoride, all the kind of things. So, because I almost sense that it's easier, again, for someone to do this externally than it is to do this for themselves, because we're 70% water too, just like the planet. But I think for a lot of you, the mind hasn't been that positive in certain ways, like as an undercurrent, right? Again, that south node going through your sign, it's not comfortable, right? It drains enthusiasm, because Aries has the north node. Aries has all the power. And I don't know if any of you know any Aries or Aries rising or Aries, like fiery kind of folks, but like they tend to they can suck the air out of the room. Even if they're not meaning to, but some of them do. You get a double fire sign, it's like they're going to kind of dominate the situation. You're an air sign, so it's pulling, even though that we're making the motion of coming into you, but I think this is more of a protective energy, like, hey, this is not, I heard a balanced exchange of energy here, right? Because even though the north node, it shouldn't be more powerful than the south node, because they're one and the same. Right, these 2 points, it's the head and the tail. We want to find the midpoint of it, and maybe that's a part of what's being learned. But yeah, something to note there, to remember that. So this could also be like breathing exercises. We ended up with Sun and Virgo in what's favorable to you. So I'm also seeing Virgo to me and Scorpio, and you sit between them, are all about fasting. So I really feel like that's helpful for you, of something. And then I saw the word temporary. So this isn't like I'm changing something that I can't go back from ever. This is like I'm going to try to go without this and see what I heard. Something like see what's happening. And I do see that your enthusiasm, as we were talking about, will I do think that will multiply. But it is good to see, like, well, who and how are we, when we have and have not. Okay. I guess a Virgo could also be helpful in your life, sort of specifically. Okay. Oh, Mars in Cancer is also kind of like blemishes on the skin too, or little cuts or boils, which can also like irritate the bowels too. Sun in Pisces. Give me a second. I don't know if we actually asked the question. I guess there's also a 6-month period between this past September. There was something you did in September. And then that goes through until March. Because for some of you, I feel like you're already a part of something in ways of a class because you love to learn, right? Even if that's just you carving out some time for yourself to read about, again, put some time into whatever you're studying about. But this more advanced, intermediate, advanced energy, I feel like that would be more when we're getting into Pisces, Aries, like when springtime comes around. Because it's as if, like, again, because the thing that you're going to be learning about, you already know about it to a certain extent. I sense most of you have books about it, or I'm seeing flashcards. It's color coordinated. So so study on that, and you can figure out. I feel like you're going to find what it is that the one that you want to. Okay? Because some way or another, the teacher comes to you, like that saying says. But the student also has to be looking. And I think right now you're meant to take, again, what you have learned and practice that. And I see particularly your very first card, and the next step on the steps as we walk forward on your path is to strengthen your faith. Right, because the words really don't matter. I mean, they matter, but say we were deaf and blind, like what we could see and what we could hear. It's like if the sensory went away, we still could function. It's in a holy sanctuary or holy sanctity. Again, the holy seed. Oh, maybe that's something too. I'm sure some of you already know this, but when we move into, especially like winter is wet and cold. So we'd want to eat more dry things too. Grains, things where the water, again, there's not a lot of water in them because it dampens the body. This could also be walking or running. Opening up, like hip opening, kind of. I'm seeing someone eating with their legs crossed, sitting on the floor. Okay. Some of you I'm really happy that you're going to meet your teacher. Or your teacher's going to start, if there's also a teacher that you already have that I feel like is going to start expanding in certain information that's really attuned to you. Like you feel closer to them. That's a lovely situation. Happy for you. Okay. I'm going to say that's that. They've all been 38 minutes, 38. It's all been 38 minutes this month. Trippy. Okay, Libra, you're the best. Even when you be in the worst. To yourself. Yeah, thanks for being here. Merry's Christmas. And I guess I'll see you in the new year.